companies have been pushing towards an all-digital future for years at this point, and it's really unfortunate for the individuals who actually want to still purchase physical media. But now we're finding out that Xbox might have finally gone all digital silently, as nobody can find physical discs for their biggest games. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, a lot of companies within the gaming industry are going through some very big shifts right now, primarily when it comes to price tags. Of course, we know that Nintendo announced that some of their first-party titles were going to be $80. Microsoft followed suit, and I'm sure most companies will end up implementing that in the next year or two. And unfortunately, now we're finding out that Xbox might have silently gone all digital. They haven't made any announcements, they haven't made any statements, but it seems pretty obvious at this point. So it says if you're a gamer that enjoys actually owning your games, then the future probably looks a bit spooky for you. Not only do we have PlayStation selling optional disc drives, but Nintendo's new GameKey Card system is also raising concerns that the all-digital era might be closer than we thought, and in fact, if you're an Xbox fan, it might already be here. Xbox managed to raise quite a few eyebrows when it seemed as though PlayStation would be getting a physical version of Gears of War Reloaded, but not Microsoft's own console, which sounds insane. But fast forward a couple of months, and now it seems as though Xbox has just stopped making physical discs for all of its big upcoming games, which is so heartbreaking for me, and I know many other people, because I do still try to buy physical whenever I can. I'm not on board with the all-digital future, primarily because there are no laws protecting consumers. They can rip your access from your games away from you at any point they want. If they ban your account, they don't have to refund you and compensate you. They can just ban your account one day and you lose access to all of your purchases. I know that there are some companies going through lawsuits right now, like Ubisoft with The Crew, but it's still just not enough. And even so, these companies can afford to lose a couple of lawsuits. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to have to change their ways. Now, again, I do go out of my way to purchase physical whenever I can. I mean, even when I got a PS5, I did get the disc drive so that I could play my physical games, but we've all known that this was eventually most likely going to happen, that they were going to one day announce, oh, in the next, 2 or 3 years, we're going to be not producing physical anymore, but for them to silently do it is insane. Release dates for The Outer Worlds 2 and Ninja Gaiden 4 were revealed during Sunday's big Xbox game showcase, and pre-orders have gone up for those that want to snag their copies early, which I think Ninja Gaiden 4 looks really fantastic. The Outer Worlds 2 does not look like it is worth $80. We know that that is going to be their first $80 title. Doesn't look like it's worth it at all whatsoever. And now, unfortunately, you can't even get a physical version for $80. It says, though, unfortunately, it seems as though large retailers such as Best Buy aren't actually taking pre-orders for standard physical copies. There are physical Xbox pre-orders for deluxe editions of The Outer Worlds 2 and Ninja Gaiden 4, but these are literally just download codes in boxes. So yeah, to make it even worse, if you're just a casual gamer and you go to a store and you see this on a shelf, you go, oh my gosh, okay, cool, I'm gonna buy this physical version. It's not even a disc. It is a digital download code. That is so infuriating. At that point, you're literally just buying a piece of plastic that is holding a code. I think that it's cool to have the boxes on your shelf, but at that point, there's literally no reason to purchase it at all whatsoever. Meanwhile, both games are getting standard physical editions on PS5, suggesting that Xbox is just about done selling its games on physical discs. That is so infuriating to me and, of course, many other people. And it's pretty obvious why they've wanted to do this. They don't have to worry about producing, storing, or shipping the numbers that they used to. And as time has gone on, of course, less people have been buying physical, but there are still a decent amount of people who do. About 20% of games sold are physical. So you'd think that they would still want to cater to those people, but I guess they just assume, well, they might as well purchase it digital if they really want to play it, thinking that they can force us down that path. And it's going to work, because in a couple of years, these companies aren't going to be selling any physical, so then it's either buy digital or don't play games, which is just so heartbreaking to me. And of course, pair this with the fact that games, in some cases, and eventually all games are going to be going up to $80 is infuriating. I personally do not subscribe to the $80 mentality. Like I just mentioned, when it comes to physical games, it's why they want to phase them out, is because they don't have to worry about like storing them or producing them. But of course, there are 3.2 billion people who play video games. They have the most amount of people ever purchasing video games. That's why they're making $200 billion a year, and it's estimated that it's going to go up by quite a high percentage this year. And then, of course, if you take into consideration how many games release now, in 1998, there was about 800 that launched. In 2024, there was roughly 18,000. You're talking about tons of variety and tons of different price tags. And unfortunately, companies now just want everything to be very standard and very cookie cutter. They want games to be $80 and all games to be able to have an $80 price tag so that they can continue to make as many profits as possible. And it's just not going to work for me. I mean, you're not going to convince me that $80 for a standard edition of a game and then $110 for a digital deluxe should be normal. And of course, with all of that in mind, that's not even taking into consideration ways that companies make money outside of an initial game purchase, like microtransactions. But talking more about physical games, we know that Switch 2 had faced controversy because of the GameKey Cards. The Nintendo Switch 2 features several launch day titles that this person was excited to play, but how you access these games may differ from previous iterations of the console. The Switch 2 supports regular game cards where the game files fit on the physical cartridge, but also GameKey Cards, which don't actually contain the full game data. It's confusing, but here's what you need to know when you're buying something like Mario Kart World or Metroid Prime 4. As Nintendo explains, GameKey Cards are your key to downloading the full game to your system via the internet. They come in a case and include cartridges that slide into the Switch 2 like any other physical release. However, you'll be shocked to learn that you'll need an internet connection to download the game's files before playing. This is a major problem for people, and this is, in my opinion, a big reason why they have decided to just go ahead with it and push forward with these plans. It's because the access media constantly tries to convince you that this is actually a good thing, that, oh my gosh, it might even make games cheaper in the long run. Oh my goodness, it's going to make it easier for you. You're going to be able to access games much quicker. Download times are going to be much quicker, yada, 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 yada. They've been pushing this narrative for years because it's profitable for them. These access media outlets want to keep their access. It's the only way that the few people left in the industry have been able to hold on to their jobs is by shilling for these companies. And we've seen so many journalists push this narrative that the digital only era is here and they're ready for it and it's going to be so good and so positive for gamers and in the long run it's going to be nice, when that's not the way a lot of people feel. I'm all for options for gamers, and that means I should have the option to buy physical and it actually be physical, not me going to a store, buying a case, and it just being a download code, or in this case of the Switch 2, like a key card, where it's just a hunk of plastic that doesn't actually really mean anything. So this is just a very disappointing situation in general. Now, of course, Xbox has not made a statement. Maybe these pre-orders have just not gone up yet and eventually things will change, but as of right now, it looks like Xbox might have silently gone all digital, which I do think is going to infuriate people once we actually have gotten this information to more gamers. I personally think that there needs to be new laws written up that clearly state that digital purchases belong to you and cannot be taken back upon a company's whim. The right to own is paramount, and if there are laws written up like this and put into place, then maybe I can understand a little bit more that people would be okay with this idea of an all-digital future. But as of right now, there are going to be millions of people who are going to fight back against this because we have no rights in terms of the digital space, and our purchases are not protected. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.